Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We continue reading today from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Saman Banam, chapter 11, the childhood pastimes of Kṛṣṇa, text number 11. Phala-vikrayiṇī tasya cyuta-dhānya-kara-dvayam phalair apūrayad ratnaiḥ phala-bhāṇḍam apūri. Word for word meaning. Phala-vikrayiṇī, the aborigine fruit vendor who was an elderly woman. Tasya of Kṛṣṇa. Cyuta-dhānya, the paddy he brought to barter, having mostly fallen. Kara-dvayam, palms of the hands. Phalair, apūrayat, the fruit vendor filled his small farms with fruits. Ratnaiḥ, in exchange for jewels and gold. Phala-bhāṇḍam, the basket of fruit. Apūri, filled. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While Kṛṣṇa was going to the fruit vendor very hastily, most of the grains he was holding fell. Nonetheless, the fruit vendor filled Kṛṣṇa's hands with fruits, and her fruit basket was immediately filled with jewels and gold. Purport. In Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 9, text 26, Kṛṣṇa says, Patram puspam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti uparitam asnami prayatatmana. Kṛṣṇa is so kind that if anyone offers him a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or some water, he will immediately accept it. The only condition is that these things should be offered with bhakti. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Otherwise, if one is puffed up with false prestige, thinking, I have so much opulence, and I'm giving something to Kṛṣṇa, one's offering will not be accepted by Kṛṣṇa. The fruit vendor, although a woman belonging to the poor aborigine class, dealt with Kṛṣṇa with great affection, saying, Kṛṣṇa, you have come to me to take some fruit in exchange for grains. All the grains have fallen, but still you may take whatever you like. Thus she filled Kṛṣṇa's palms with whatever fruits he could carry. In exchange, Kṛṣṇa filled her whole basket with jewels and gold. From this incident, one should learn that for anything offered to Kṛṣṇa with love and affection, Kṛṣṇa can reciprocate many millions of times over both materially and spiritually. The basic principle involved is an exchange of love. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa teaches in Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 9, text 27, Yat karosi yat asnasi, yat juhosi dadasya, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva mad arpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. With love and affection, one should try to give something to Kṛṣṇa from one's source of income. Then one's life will be successful. Kṛṣṇa is full in all opulences. He does not need anything from anyone. But if one is prepared to give something to Kṛṣṇa, that is for one's own benefit. The example given in this connection is that when one's real face is decorated, the reflection of one's face is automatically decorated. Similarly, if we try to serve Kṛṣṇa with all our opulences, we as parts and parcels or reflections of Kṛṣṇa will become happy in exchange. Kṛṣṇa is always happy, for he is Atmarama, fully satisfied with his own opulence. Phala-vikrayiṇī tasya cyuta-dhānya-kara-dvayam phalair upārayad ratnaiḥ phala-bhāṇḍam apūri. Srila Rupa Goswami says that bhakti is very rare to achieve in the Nectar of Devotion. One of the 6 characteristics of bhakti, rarely achieved, is all auspicious. So here, the elderly woman, the aborigine who came to offer fruits, she was selling her fruits in Vrindavan. And somehow, Lord Kṛṣṇa wanted to take some of these fruits, even though Kṛṣṇa is the one who gives all the fruits. All the fruits came from him. But somehow he was so excited to go and get some of these fruits that's been given or being sold by the aborigine woman. So hastily, Lord Kṛṣṇa went inside the house of Nanda Maharaj, and whatever he can carry in his palm, paddy, because they are in the Vaishya community, and most of them fell through in between his fingers, the paddy. And whatever is left, he gave to the elderly woman, aborigine, and somehow the aborigine accepted whatever is remaining. And in return, she gave all the fruits that Lord Kṛṣṇa can carry. It says pula fruit, that's the fruit. But how much he can carry? He's just a young boy. He says only one fruit he can carry. But in return, in exchange for that small gesture, the basket became full of jewels and gold. But in the meantime, the aborigine, the woman, she cannot really recognize says, the Acharya says, she cannot recognize that these are all gems and very, very expensive, precious stones and gold. She thought that, oh, her fruits just change in colors. That when she returned home, she just recognized that, oh, actually these were all gems, very, very valuable, and she did not tell anyone. So, yes, bhakti, in the execution of bhakti, it seems to be very difficult. It seems to be very difficult because we have to pay a price. As Rupa Goswami says, we have to pay this lolyam, greed. But that greed doesn't mean that we have to be pretentious. That greed doesn't mean that we should have self-motivated. Simple. Just like the aborigine here, she gave everything, knowingly that in return she is not getting anything, practically, to Lord Kṛṣṇa. So we have to value the process of bhakti. We are so fortunate that somehow or other, after many, many lifetimes, hovering around different universes, not just in this universe. It says Brahmande, not Brahmanda. Brahmande means many, many universes, going to different species of life. But somehow or other, we have come in contact in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. We have to be grateful for this. And sometimes things may not be expected the way we are expecting. Things are happening not according to our expectations. We may have some difficulties, but Srila Prabhupada says we should go on. We should continue. Keep going. And then Kṛṣṇa will reciprocate accordingly. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Shri Kṛṣṇa Balaram ki jai, Radhe Shyam Lalita Vishakha Devi ki jai. It's like I had one friend in Delhi, and he's trying so hard to practice bhakti, and he's losing taste. He says, Maharaj, it doesn't work. Well, you have to keep going. Don't give up. Bhakti is not so easy, but actually it is easy at the same time, because this is the nature of the soul, to serve the Supreme Lord. Our main purpose is just to please Kṛṣṇa. Just like here, the aborigine, she just wanted to please Kṛṣṇa. She just wanted to make Kṛṣṇa happy. On ourselves, we can have a beautiful house. We can make arrangements, decorate it as much as possible. Interior design changing frequently as much as possible. But we will not be satisfied. Our body, we may decorate it with fine silk dhoti or sari or golden ornaments, but still we will not be satisfied. But Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami gave the secret. We should make Kṛṣṇa happy. Then we will be happy. That is the secret of happiness. So Rupa Goswami, who is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, today is his disappearance day. He left 1536, about 27 days after the disappearance of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Oh, sorry, not 1536. That's another day. 1564 rather. 1536 is one of the days that when they met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami is a younger brother of Sanatana Goswami. He is one of the main assistants of the Hussein Shah, the Sultan of West Bengal in those days. They were very famous for their erudite scholarship. They know Persian, Urdu, Sanskrit, and even before he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wrote a book called Hangshaduta, very, very intelligent, that he became the personal secretary of the Hussein Shah, Nawab Hussein Shah, or Aladdin Hussein Shah. And Sanatana Goswami became the treasurer, the one who keeps accounts of the Hussein Shah. Now there are three brothers, Anupam or Balava. Anupam, younger brother of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, and he is the father of Jiva Goswami. The six Goswami, si Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta, Raghunath, si Jiva, Gopala Bhatta, and Das Raghunath or Raghunath Das Goswami. So Rupa Goswami, there is this prayer that we chanted. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadami Swapadantikam. Manobhistam. He knows the mind. He knows the inner feelings. He knows the heart of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As such, he is the foremost disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even though in other places it's Sanatana Goswami. But here, Rupa Goswami. Even though he's a younger brother of Sanatana Goswami, but still he is considered as the leader of the Goswamis, that after the departure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was the next Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami. So both the brothers, they were serving the Hussein Shah, because if they did not follow the command of the Hussein Shah, then they will create, the Hussein Shah will kill even innocent men. They were so afraid. For themselves, they don't care, but they care for others, so they follow, okay? And once you've been become part of that regime, then you also become a Muslim. Your Hindu caste is gone. You become part of them. Somehow or other, Anupam and Rupa Goswami, they got permission from the Nawab to be relieved of their service. Because they wanted to join Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately. And Sanatana Goswami, whom we heard his Leela a few weeks ago, that somehow he wanted to go also, but he was not being released by the Nawab. Because if he goes, then his whole kingdom may collapse. So much so that he even punished and put Sanatana Goswami to jail because he refused to do his job. But then Sanatana Goswami, when he left the service, it says that he had 2 boatloads of gold. This is the wealth and the income that he received from the Nawab. And he gave the formula, and Prabhupada says also in the Nectar of Instruction, we should try to follow the same formula as Srila Rupa Goswami did. 50% should be given for Krishna conscious related activities to propagate Krishna consciousness, or those who are in the Sankirtan process, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At 25%, he will give to his relatives, and 25% he will keep for his emergency use. Now, how many in ISKCON is following that? Of course, not many are retired yet. So whatever you can give, as you like. But that is the process. When you retire, that means, but still it's possible. Even if you have $100 left, you give 50 towards Krishna, and 25 put it in the bank for yourself, just in case of emergency, and whatever 25 to maintain your family. Is it possible? Maybe. Maybe not. Especially the demand of the family is a little bit high. So what do we expect? Maybe if we can give 10% to Krishna, or for the purpose of Sankirtan Yajna, then that will be good enough. Just like most of the religions or different kinds of faith all over the world, this is what we're doing. This is what they're doing. So, yes, there are 4 main duties that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. To excavate the lost pastimes, Leela Sthalis, areas where Radha and Krishna and the Supreme Lord's associates performed their pastimes 5,000 years ago. Because 500 years ago, practically, it's lost. Many of these deities that were found, they were excavated. Even the Govinda deity of Srila Rupa Goswami, he was feeling dissatisfied even after coming to Vrindavan and fulfilling all the instructions and duties that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to him and to Sanatan Goswami, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to find Govinda Dev. And he cannot find. So one time he was near the banks of the Yamuna. He was feeling very, very unhappy. And somehow, one Brajabasi boy came and asked him, "Oh Baba, you are looking so morose. What is the cause of your unhappiness?" Rupa Goswami says, "This is the problem. I'm looking for Govinda Dev, but I cannot find him." So the young boy says, "Well, there is this one place in Gomat Lila that there is a Surabhi cow who's giving lots and lots of quantities of milk. And this mound hill, Surabhi cows means they can give unlimited milk. It's like 5,000 years ago. They are called Surabhira Pipalayantam. Unlike nowadays, they said it's cow's milk, but it's whitewash. Yes, not really cow's milk. So the young boy showed the place, and lo and behold, there is the cow releasing large quantities of milk. And suddenly the young boy disappeared. And it's too late already, because Rupa Goswami, he understood that that was Lord Kṛṣṇa. He did not recognize him in the beginning. Usually this is the pastimes of the Lord along with his devotees 5,000 years ago or 500 years ago, even 5,000 years ago. No, not many can realize that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Lord. And 500 years ago, the Goswamis usually, Radharani and Lord Kṛṣṇa will appear before them face to face. But then they will not recognize that none other than Lord Kṛṣṇa and Radharani is in front of them. So when the milk or the cow comes back to give that milk, there was a voice. It says that it was Balaram's voice who says that you should dig up in this area and you will find Govinda Ji. So he asked the local Brajavasis with their spade and their what they will use for digging, and they carefully dug and mounted, and there was Govinda Ji. Govinda Ji is the deity for the one who is in the process of abhideya. Srila Rupa Goswami is the abhideya acharya. There is sambandha, abhideya, and then prayojana. Sambandha means understanding our relationship with Lord Kṛṣṇa. The Supreme Lord is Lord Kṛṣṇa, none other. He is the supreme enjoyer, and we are his servants. And the deity for Sambandha is Madan Mohan Ji. And the Acharya is Sanatan Goswami. In Prayojana, that means first we understand our position. Who is Kṛṣṇa? Who am I? What is my relationship to him? What is my duty to him? And what is the process whereby I will be able to understand my relationship to him? That means the abhideya, 9 processes of devotional service. And the culmination of performing bhakti is Krishna prema. That's prayojana. Prayojana is Gopinath Ji. And the predominating the acharya. Who is the acharya for Gopinath? Who? It's just slipping my mind also now. Madhu Pandit? No? Madhu Pandit Prana Dana He Jai Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe. Is that correct, Murli? Most of these deities are in Jaipur because the Mughal dynasty, they were so atrocious, they were so cruel that they would want to destroy all the deities 500 years ago. All the temples. The Temple of Govinda Ji, supposed to be like so many high stories. No, there's only 2 stories. 4? Is it 4? Or 6? 6. That means 4 has been destroyed. And Govinda Ji temple is the grandest. It was built by Maharaj Man Jai Singh from Jaipur, who is a disciple of Gopal Bhatt Goswami. Gopal Bhatt Goswami, one of the Goswamis. or Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, who is also very expert in reciting Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So he asked his disciple to build that temple of Govinda Ji. And somehow also that Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, he gave a very nice flute to Govinda Ji, and also very nice ornaments, very expensive ornaments. That was given to him as well. But at the same time, he is not staying in grand temples like that was built. He's staying under a tree every night, the 6 Goswamis. So yes, before going to Jaipur, with the help of Man Jai Singh, he transported most of these deities to Jaipur. Before going, or after leaving Vrindavan, it stopped in Radhakund. Then after Radhakund, it stopped in Kamyavan, and then they are in Jaipur, except Radha Madan Mohan. They are in Karoli. Brinda Devi also was found by Srila Rupa Goswami in Kamyavan. So yes, the deities that we have here in Vrindavan of the Goswamis, these are called Pratibhu deities. That means they are non-different, but at the same time they are like exact replica. Just like Vrindavan is an exact replica of Goloka Vrindavan. So we have Radha Govinda deity also here. It's on the back side of the big temple now, located. And usually during the Chandan Yatra, that will be the last stop of our Sankirtan party, usually being led by Dina Bandhu Prabhu. That will be the last stop to have the darshan. So the king, he was so attracted to Radha Govinda Ji that every day he just wants to have darshan of the Lord. And he's not so satisfied just to have darshan. He wanted that as soon as he gets up, he will have the darshan of the Lord directly. So he built the temple of Radha Govinda Ji in Jaipur, situated in such a way that it is exactly opposite his bedroom. And every day there's about 10,000 devotees during Mangalarti. They will all run. Have you been to Mangalarti in Radha Govinda Ji? Huh? They were all running. Before going to work, they will go past the temple. After work, or before going home, they will, after the work, in the evening, they will pass by the temple. And after going at home, their whole life is Radha Govinda Ji. So, Srila Rupa Goswami is called the Rasa Acharya. Rasa Acharya. Because he wrote many, many books. Contained within are the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught him and gave him instructions in Das Avameda Ghat in Allahabad. Right? You have been there also? We have been there. It's a tirtha. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he instructed Rupa Goswami there for 10 continuous days. Rupa Goswami is none other than Rupa Manjari in Radha Kṛṣṇa Leela. Manjari. Manjari means they are younger in age compared to the Sakhis. The Sakis like Lalita, Visakha, they are elder, almost the same age as Srimati Radharani. Now Manjaris means they are so young that in other pastimes of Radha and Krishna, which is very, very intimate, that the other Sakis, the other Gopas are not allowed. Because they are young, the Manjaris, usually children when they're young, very innocent, they can keep secret. Right? So the Manjaris are like that. It is says that if one wants to enter into the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then one should take guidance and instructions and take mercy, blessings from Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, if one wants to take into the pastimes of Radha Shyama Sundar, then one should take guidance and directions and blessings and mercy from Srila Rupa Manjari. Yes, we should somehow or other try to study the books of Rupa Goswami, as one of them is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or Srila Prabhupada summarized it as the Nectar of Devotion. He says that this is the law book for the ISKCON devotees. Because there are many guidelines there how to proceed in bhakti. Many do's and don'ts, how to worship the Lord, everything practically that we need to attain ultimately love of God. So, yes, Srila Rupa Goswami is explaining how valuable this bhakti is. The value of bhakti is so rare that we cannot attain it without the association of devotees. That even the Goswamis themselves, they would write books. This is one. They would write books. This is one of the duties or given instructions from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to excavate the lost pastimes of Radha and Krishna, to install deities and how to worship them, to write books, bhakti, sastra, and to write guidelines about how to proceed in bhakti. All of them are being still practiced by our movement. We build temples, we go to different places, try to get within the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and His associates. Just like today, it's very auspicious to go to Terkadamba, where the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written by Srila Rupa Goswami. It says there that when Rupa Goswami would write pastimes of the Lord, when it is in the part where there is a feeling of separation, then the Kadamba leaves will fall down, feeling the pain also of separation. They will share the emotion of the things or the description of Rupa Goswami's feeling of separation between Radha and Krishna. And then, when he would write the section where there is a meeting, Vipralamba and Sambhoga. Vipralamba means separation and Sambhoga means union. So, the leaves or the branches where the leaves were fallen down, it started to sprout a new leaf. They will be feeling the joys and happiness hearing the union between Radha and Kṛṣṇa. Srila Rupa Goswami knows so much the mind of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that in Jagannath Puri as well, he heard Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reciting a verse, and he wrote it and he gave some explanation and he put it in a hut, touched hut, in one of the compartment there. And then when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw this, he cannot figure out really, he was so surprised. How is it that Rupa Goswami can understand my mind? He can read my mind. And he was comparing to the writings of Rupa Goswami, just like rows of pearls. And some of the Goswami's literatures you can find, there is an institute here. What is that name? Vrindavan? Not Vrindavan, not V-I-H-E, but yeah, it's right there. Vrindavan. Vrindavan Research Center. And recently Indradyumna Swami was there and he was given the privilege to touch and have darshan. They are worshipable. So he wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Upadesamrita, Ujjvala Nilamani, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava. So many books. That if we study this, not just reading, but study. It says also that we should cry to get the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami in order ultimately to attain the mercy of Sri Radha and Shama Sundar. It's like Bamsidas Babaji Maharaj, he was asked, how can you get the darshan of Radhe Shyam? He says, you only have to pay one price. You have to learn how to cry. And that's in Harinam, in the Maha Mantra, the explanation of Srila Prabhupada. We should cry like a child crying for his mother. And he says that if we have not cried by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that means our heart is still as hard and still there's some anarthas. So ultimately, today is a very auspicious day. We are very, very fortunate to be somehow in this line of disciplic succession, coming from Lord Brahma, Madhva, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaudiya, and we are actually called Rupanugas because we're followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. All the members of Gaudiya Sampradayas, they're all called Rupanugas. And in ISKCON, we are Prabhupada Anugas, who is also a follower of Srila Rupa Goswami. So it's included. If you're a follower of Srila Prabhupada, that means you're also a follower of Srila Rupa Goswami. So, today we should beg for the dust of the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with Gauridas Pandit, who is one of the main cowherd boys in Kṛṣṇa Leela. He's an eternal associate of Lord Kṛṣṇa, and Gauridas Pandit is an eternal associate also of Lord Nityananda Balaram, one of the Dwadasa Saka, 12 main cowherd boys. Because Lord Nityananda, this is his mood as a cowherd boy. So we stop here now. We did Bhagavatam and Rupa Goswami all together. We can still read about Gauridas Pandit, but I gave you the summary already. And since we were fasting, now we will be feasting. Hare Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami ki. The aborigine Mataji ki. In Kṛṣṇa Lila. Hare Krishna. The aborigine. The one who saw. Aborigine. Hare Krishna.